Salut coders, welcome to another tutorial, and in this tutorial we are focusing on Appwrite authentication and we are using phone number verification. On the previous video I showed you how to create a login page and a splash screen page and intro page. So in this one, that's where we are starting our business logic. So let's get started. So let's first visit the Appwrite page and see. You type appwrite.io. So you want to do authentication by phone number. So let's go to docs, and then here we go to reference account. Then let's change here to Flutter SDK. On this list, on your right, let's look for phone number, which is the last one, phone number verification. So this is the endpoint if you are using a REST. But when we are using Flutter SDK, we need to initialize a client and we must put our project ID and add this URL. This is the URL for Appwrite Cloud, and then we get a response. So we need to create a service so that we can use this as a singleton. So let's create a service which is a like Appwrite client. So let's create that service. So here, create a new directory and we'll call this service. And you want to create an Appwrite client, a new .dat file. Say Appwrite client, then class will be the class will be Appwrite client. Appwrite client service. So here we see we need this client. We want to return this client from our service. So let's do this client. So you say get client. That's the method, and it's supposed to return a client. It's supposed to return this. So we can copy this. Then we do this. Come here. Return. We say client. And we can import from Appwrite client. So after doing this, so we have our client now. So what we want to do, we want to inject this. This is a singleton. So there's a dependence that we added on our first video, which was what was the name of the dependence? It was Kiwi. So you can come here and say Kiwi. So this is the Kiwi dependence. So with this dependence, we want to inject our service like this. So let me show you. So let's create another directory where we say injection is for dependence injection. In order to make it clear, let's say dependence injection. Then we create our class called injection. Let's create our class .dat file. We can call it injection like this. Then we can add it to our to our Git. Then here, let's create a method. We can call it void initialize queue. You see the advantage of using this dependency injection. We will save time here. So here we just say queue container equals to queue container. We initialize the object. Then we say container dot. So I usually do this. Then we say dot registry factory register factory. Then in here it's a container. Then we say client Appwrite clients. Then we initialize this. So if we have other one, we just inject here. So here we initialize that the code that we have here. We are initializing it one by one, right? So we can also let's not add a logger. Then we can go to our main and we can call this method when the project startups. Let's go to our main. Where's our main? Here. Let's add it here. Then initialize here. Let's import this one from here. So by doing this, we are now able to use our client service, which is this one. So here we will update this with our project ID. But for now, leave it like this. I will show you how to create a project ID very soon. So our next thing, if we come back here, we see if you want to verify a phone number, we have to put a verification number in the request. I think this is the wrong. I opened a wrong thing. We want to create a phone session. Sorry. So a phone session, we have the client here, and when creating a session, we want to pass the user ID and the phone number that we want to verify. So here for user ID, we pass our phone number that is going to be user ID and the phone number that we are going to verify. This is the message that can be sent. So why did I choose this to be a phone number to be a user ID? Because each time when you log in here, you are using a phone number, and some others can put a different user ID and try to verify by the phone number. So our phone number is also our user ID. So let's see. So we want to create a block for this thing using Flutter block. So using Flutter block, we must create an event and a state. So let's go and create our block. So let's create our directory called Bloc. In this, let's create our auth block, another directory. We call it auth. This one we use for authentication. And we want to add 3 files here. The first one is an auth event underscore event. The next one is also an auth state. You will understand later how the state works. And the other one is the auth block. So if someone click a button, we want to push an event called mobile login event. So we can come here and create a class. Let's have an abstract class that we call, let's call it abstract, that we call this auth event. So I want to extend this one into an equitable. If you don't know about equitable like this, then we can import. So I think we don't have this this dependence. So let's add this dependence, and we just say Flutter equitable here. Flutter equitable. Yes, this is the one that we want. So on the installation, we want to use this version. So when you're adding a dependence, make sure you add we are creating an application that runs on Android, iOS, and web. So we have to choose a dependence that is these three platforms. So here you can put it here, then you can say pubget. So it has its own advantage when doing the hash coding, and we also, it allows for a class to be a constant constructor. So it's a good library. So let's go here and import the event. You can, if you have time, you can look into it. Then here we just say we can override our method called props. From here we just do this, generate override method. There's a method, this one, and for now it's empty. So we just say like this, it's allow arrays of parameters. So our event will be called mobile number login event. So let's create that class that extends auth event. Mobile number login event. And this one extends, it will extend this auth event. And here we want to pass a string, which is a mobile number. No, string mobile number, and we can create, and it is a requirement. Let's generate a constructor for this thing. Then we can also override this. Just copy this, and then you can put your parameters here, and you can make this constructor constant, maybe by doing this const, or you can leave it like this because the const is not working here. So this is the event that you want to push when someone tries to log in. So let's go to the state. So for a state, let's copy this one also and go to our state and replace here auth event with auth state. And we must extend what? Equitable. And also in state, we want to have a default state when someone, when you initialize things, this our block. So our state will be, let's add a class called initial auth state. Initial, our default state. extends. Let's extend this auth state. Here, wrong spelling, initial typo error. Then we want to add a loading auth state. When someone click a button, we want to load something, a loading dialog. So we call it a loading auth state. And we want also to have a success state, success login state. So when it's successful, let's check to our documentation. What do we need? You see, when you send a request here, it will return a response, and a response is a type of token. So this is the token that we want, and the token is this properties. So on success, we want to have this token, and we call it token. So just copy this also, or do this first. Then here you just say this dot token, then copy. Since it extends equitable, you can just add this here. So for a success, we want to push this state to our view, and we also have a failure state for, or we can copy this success state and we change it to failure. We call it failure. Maybe network issue or anything, invalid phone number. So just say string message here, paste here, and copy here, and do there. So by doing this, we have these three. We added these states. These are the three common for a loading dialog. When authentication is success, we want to get a token, and this one is for failure login state. So now, because we now have an event and our state. So we fire an event, and after fire an event, we can have a state here. So our view will be listening to a state, and the view will pass will fire an event. So in our block, we can create our block. We can call it class auth block, and this block extends the block pattern. In the Flutter block, it extends the block, this one, and you can see on this it allows an event and a state. So we just import this. Then our event here is auth. That's why we created an auth event, and an auth state. So it requires a constructor. So here we must pass our what do you call it? We must pass our state. It requires an initial state. So we say auth state. We can say auth state here, and it allow a super like this. And then in super, we pass our auth state, which is going to be our initial state. Then press enter. So Here, that's where we write our business logic. Bloc is for business logic component. So that's where we write our logic to do our authentication. So I want to show you how we can use our client. So if you want to inject our client, our client, which is this one, in injection, this one, we want to use Kiwi to inject this one. So we just say copy. Let's import this. Okay. We just say this, then equals to Kiwi container dot resolve. Then in our resolve here, in parameters, we just put the name of the name of the service that we want to invoke, and that's all. Why it is not working? Maybe we need to import this like this. So we are now able to use our client here, this one. So this is a singleton, so we don't create this each and every time. So we just do this from our container and we can reuse. This is this is how it works, the dependency injection. So here, let's create a method called login with phone number. So login with mobile number. So we want to pass our event, which is this one. We fire this event, which is this one. Copy. Then we say event. Then here we must use this class called emitter. Emitter with it in parentheses. It must have an auth state. An auth state. Then it will be a state here. So after doing this, we want to add our logic to log into Appwrite. So let's see how we can use this one. And here we can come here, and the logic to log into Appwrite is this one. So we need an account here. So we just copy this and you come here. Then import the account, but here it requires a client. So the client will just say .get client. Then the login, if you have an account, you just say account create session with the user ID. So we just copy this. We just copy this and we will be able. So our user ID will be a phone number. So let's say string phone number equals to mobile number. So here, this is going to be our user ID, and for a phone number, it's supposed to start with a plus. So you have to do this, but we have a rule here for a user ID. It's not supposed to start with special characters. You can see here a valid characters A2Z, A09 underscore cannot start with the special characters. So it's not supposed to start with with a plus. So we have to do substring. So we know our number is always starting with a plus. So substring from 1. So if the number is plus, let's say the number is plus 32 something something something. So for a year we want to remove this plus and start here. And this is for it to be a valid for number, it's supposed to start with a plus. So we just substring here. So after doing this, we want a token, and you can do this. We want a token. You can see if you do this, it requires a token, but our method is a future. It's a future here, so it's waiting for a response. So to solve this, we just say await. Once we are here, let's do this. Let's wait for a response. Then add async to our method. So with this now, we want to emit our event now. So we want to emit something. So here we just say emit. If we have a token here, we want to emit a successful auth state. So we can go to auth state. That's where we use this one. Then this one requires a token. So we fire a success here. And here, before we start this, let's say emit. Let's emit a loading auth state. You can emit this. So when you call this method, we emit something, and after we emit a loading, and we show a loading dialog on our view, on our screen. Then after a success, we just show a token and navigate to another page. So here, how the block knows that it's waiting for a event. So for it to know that it's waiting for an event, we have to do this here. So it's easy. Let's remove this now. And here we just say on. It's waiting for an event, which is a, let's say it is waiting for this event, right? What happens if that event is fired? So it allows an event and a state. Then we do this and we put a semicolon. Then we await. Reason of adding async because we want to code this one, so we'll be waiting for something here. So now we can call our method this one, and in our method we can pass our event and our state. So this is the event. When we use Bloc to call this, so this Bloc will be listening to any event of this thing. When this event is fired, it will call this method, and in this method it will call a state for loading auth state. Then after that, this one also. So let me refactor this. Let's say call it loading refactor so that it makes sense. Loading log in auth state, because so this is the block pattern. That's all you need to know about the block pattern. So let's now go to our main so that we can configure our block pattern. So for us to be able to use our block, we must configure this block into our main method. So here in our main method, let's just remove this for now. Put it here, just cut it. And here we must use mod block provider, because we shall use multiple blocks. So we can use mod block provider. And here it allows a list of blocks in array, and here it requires a child, and the child will be this view. So here we want to configure our auth block provider. So this one, it's a mod block provider. It allows a list of block providers. So we just copy this, just copy block provider, and the type of our block is auth block. It's auth block. Then here a method, and in our method it requires a create method. So our create method, it's a context, and we want to say auth block. Then we pass our initial state, that is initial auth state. So by doing this, we manage to create our block. So when we have another block like messaging block, we come here and configure it. So all of our block must be here, must be on the root of the application, so that we can use them all over, and the event and state will be shared among the whole application, and the state will be the state will be listened by each and every page that we have. So after doing this, we configure. Let's test if this thing is running. So let's do this. Yeah, the application is running correctly. You see the load after the loading scene. So there's no issue right now. So now let's go to our login page so that we can try to invoke the login, so that we can call our block. I will show you how to use a block here. So here, what you want to do is we want a phone number so that we can get the phone. So we just say string phone equals to number, dot phone number, and we know it won't be empty because we do code this after we validate that it's not empty. Then we say block provider, and the block that you are using is an auth block. So we just block provider of the off. We must use off, and the type, it will be an auth block. Then here we just say add the mobile number event, login event, and we pass our phone. So this is the logic to call our, this is our logic to log in. So by doing this, we are now able to log in. But let's find where do we copy this. Here we want to use the phone number on input change, when valid, on input change. Okay, So here we just want to do this, get phone number, and we pass our mobile number. So this one, phone number, we want to have a global phone number here. Okay, we already have one, which is this one. When inputs changed, so we just say print number. So we just say this dot number goes to number. Here we are going to print our number, and here we can use this dot number here, dot get phone number. What do we want here? We want a phone number. So on our method, let's change this. We don't care about this. Don't care about this. Let's put this number, and you can remove this. So here, if we fire an event here, we will be able to fire an event. So if you say this one dot add, it will fire an event, and the block is listening to mobile number event, which is here, to login number, to mobile number login event, and here. So we can test this, but the application won't work. So let's put, we'll get an exception. So we'll show you how to handle that exception. So let's run this application and see. And here we want to see everything that is running here. Then let's add here phone number. Then let's try to invoke this one. You see, we send a request, and here, because we sent an event to our block, you see, in our block, we are trying to call this, but our client, we did configure our client, our project ID, so that's why it failed. So in case of this, we want to add a try catch here. So let's add a try catch. Try. So our catch will be on. You can come here and you can see, oh, it does not have a catch. Okay, you can catch here an exception. So when you have an exception which we want to emit a failure state, so let's print the, we can print the exception. Then you can throw a failure state, which is this one, failure login state. Then here, message, we just say try in error. Please try again later. So for this one, the reason of not working is because of this. We don't have a project. So we are supposed to create a project. So let's create a project. You can log in to just say Appwrite. Go to your Appwrite, sign in. If you don't have an account, you can sign in with a Gmail. Let's create a project. I can say a code with Bisq. So I created this one. So I can copy the project ID. So for you, you can copy your project ID. So I copy mine. And you can update it here. You can put your project ID. Putting your project ID, let's test and see if you are going to have an error. Here we put a valid phone number. Then you click verify. And we are now having another error, which is saying it's no longer the same error, but this one, it's a package here. So we must, this is an iOS one, so we must add this package on iOS platform. So just copy this and come back here. And here we have a list of integrations. So we must add it to an Apple app and say app name, say chat with Bisc. And this is the, you copy this, you copy your bundle ID as it's shown on the exception, and you click next, and just click next. They assume that you are a beginner before reading this. So take me to dashboard. You can see I added this, our iOS. So let's test again. So let's click this, then for, so let's verify. So right now it is successful. We don't have any error. I received a text message right now. So this thing is working. Or let me show you here by printing something, printing like a token ID, so that you see, get a response. Print token dot ID, and also user ID, which was created. So if you can also check here, you can go to auth and you can see my phone number here is not yet verified, and it was created today at 9:03. You can check now, it's 10:03. So this is the user that was created right now using this. So after doing this, we must go to the verification. So let's complete our page and show the loading dialog also. So here we need to come back to our login page. So in our login page, we want to show a login, like a login dialog, like using the state that we passed. So we need to add a block listener. So our block listener will be like this. Let's remove this. I want you to show you. You say block listener, and this one is an auth block. Remember, so it's an auth block, and it's listened to an auth state. It's an auth block listened to an auth state like this. Then we do this. So we must add an auth state. By adding this, we need to add some parameters, which is the listener, right? Which is the list of state that we are listening to. So we must import this. These are the listeners. So let's copy everything that is in our stack. Let's copy everything here. Copy. And here we have the parameter called child. And then we put our stack here inside the child. So we have list of states that we have. So we can say if state is loading, we have the loading, login loading. We have to do something here. So we can also have another state also, which is a failure. Let's copy this one. And also we have another state which is a success. So after doing this, with these three states, we have a loading, a failure, and a success. And for loading, we want to say, we want to show something on our dialog. So we can come here, we have a widget, we have this custom dialog. So we call chat dialogs. You can check that. Then we say dot waiting. Let's import this one. Then we just say the message will be loading. So when it is a failure, we want to hide our dialog, our chat dialog. So we just say when there's a failure, first hide it like this. When it is a success, let's show. So after hiding this, let's a chat dialog. Let's show an error message, which is a info dialog. It's allow a title, and the title is an error. Then a description will be from the state, which is this one, dot message. Then the type of a dialog here, it will be an error. We can show an error, alert type error, alert type dot error. So for a success, we navigate to another page here. We just print, navigate to another page. OTP confirmation. So let's test, and we want also to hide this on here. We first hide this, then let's test this. So here we enter our phone number. Then click verify. You can see the loading. Oh yeah, sorry, I was supposed to add a hide dialog here so that it would disappear. But you see, it was a success state and it showed navigate to another page. Let me remove the other prints that are in this one. We don't need it, and we don't need this one. So let's run again. Then verify. You see, it loads. So this thing is now listening, and we are now able to log in with Appwrite using phone number verification. So we need to create an OTP page. So let's create our OTP page. So here we have to create a new directory. I can call it OTP. Then let's copy the login. Then we can paste it here and then say OTP page. So in our login, let's rename login page to OTP page, OTP page like this. Then replace all. After doing this, so here we want to remove this. We don't need the phone number. We are now entering the OTP. So this one loading for the state. This one let's leave it as it is. And this one let's leave it as it is. We will change it later. Then for this, we don't want this. We don't want a phone number dialog, a phone number widget, and also we don't want a button. So we added this dependency, which is an OTP text field. So I'll show you an example by doing this. Yeah, this is the OTP. This is the OTP. So we just want to use this OTP field in the on complete unchanged. So we can copy that and paste it in our OTP page. Where is it here? We want to add that. So just copy there and paste your OTP field here on center. So we input this. Let's import this thing. Let's import the phone style from the OTP and then the controller. This one. So it is an OTP controller. And for this, let's delete this for now. So for the controller, copy this and put this. So here in our OTP page, we want to pass our user ID, user ID. So let's create a constructor here. This one. So we want to pass our user after successful. Once we get an OTP, we want to move into this page, and our user ID is the phone number, so that we can validate our OTP. So if you come here to our API, we now go to phone. This endpoint phone verification. It requires our user ID, so we can pass the user ID from the previous screen and the secret, which is the OTP that you received. And you can see here the for it limited to 10 requests for every 60 minutes. I think the OTP expires after 15 minutes, I think so. So after doing this, let's create the route for this. So I already shared with you the command to create that. So this is the command. Just run this command and it will update our routes here. It will update our routes just below here with our new route, which is the OTP. So you see, this is the OTP route. So we can now go to our login page. So here we want to, after a successful, here we want to navigate to our, after a success we want to navigate to an OTP page. So the name of is auto route, auto router dot of context, I think dot push, then the name of our, it's OTP page and requires a user ID, this one. So you just say what, so you just say, then you pass a what, a user ID. So let's import it from here, then it requires a user ID here. So it will be state. So here it will be a user ID, then state dot token dot user ID, and then it will route into here. So in our OTP page with this thing and our image also. So let's test this. If you are able to navigate to this page and this method you are no longer using it, let's remove it. So let's test this one. Let's enter our phone number. You can verify what happened. Let's check into the errors. Okay, failed to navigate to OT page. Why? Because we're supposed to come here. Here, we forgot to add this here, like this. Then we can run it again. And we can test. There was a 500 on done. What was the error? So I think the error is because we are limited to 10. We are limited to 10 requests. So this exception is coming from Appwrite. So we need to change the number. Maybe let me change the number to another phone number and test. You see, so I'll receive a phone number to my. I received an OTP. The reason of that error is that the endpoint is limited to 10 requests in every 60 minutes. So per account. So I reached 10 when I was testing with you. So this is our page and we want to fill our OTP after that. Then we verify with this code, which is to verify update phone session. So let's add an event for that. So the event, it will require a user ID and a secret. So we can come here in our auth event, then you just copy mobile, this one, mobile number login. So we can say mobile number verification, then it requires a user ID. I think by now you are now understanding the event and the state. User ID, then the secret, which is the OTP. Then paste this here, the user ID here, this dot secret here, then this secret here. Then after doing this, we can fire an event here. So we can go to our OTP page. Then on done, it means we have our code here. So we say block. Then we want to pass a context here. And then we say, and it's of type the block is of type auth block. Then we can say add, and we can pass this event. Then here we can pass our I think our user ID. User ID is widget to user ID, and our secret is this code. We can pass this code. So by doing this, it means we have entered our OTP and we completed here. After completing, we want to process the OTP validation. So, but in our block, we don't have configured this mobile number verification event. So let's get in here and then code this and copy this and here on because we are now listening to this. Then we say mobile number verification. Then we can create this method. So for mobile number verification, we want to emit a loading auth state, but this was a login. So let's copy this one. We want to say loading OTP verification. Capital letter V. And for a message, it's failure OTP verification. And also for a success of an OTP, means our OTP is correct, we need also, so for here, just copy this and put it here, success OTP verification. OTP verification. But for a successful OTP verification, for now, let's leave it like this. I will show you. I think it will return a session. Yeah, it will return a session. It means we are now verified. Now we are getting a session. So how do you check it? If it is a session, you just come here And on the response, you see there's a session object, so it will return a session. Then come back here. So for loading, so here, let's go back to our OTP. Then on our state, we will fire this one. And for a failure, we want OTP state. And for a success, we want this one. So after doing this, navigate to another page. Navigate to another page, which is username page. We want to update our username that can be seen by other users that are using the application. So for now, let's go to our block again and implement this logic. So here, let's emit. We want to emit in our state. We want to emit our loading state, so that a dialog will be pop up. Then here we want to do the logic, so we just copy this try catch, because there will be an error. So we have this error that we are handling. So error, maybe an OTP invalid code supplied. Then after doing this, we emitted this, but here we don't want this logic for sure. So here we don't want this also. It's different. So but for the client, for the account, I think we need the account, because we want to update the account. So just copy this. Then here from our event, we have the event dot user ID, and we have from our event we have also secret, and then this method will return a session. So here we just say session like this. Then it will add await. It's in async. It's a sync method, so we were waiting for a response from Appwrite API. So after doing this, it means we have managed to log in if you don't have any error. So we just copy this and we call this. Then we pass our session here. So it means we managed to, it's a successful. So let's go to our OTP page. We will print, navigate to another page. Navigate to another page, which is this one. So here we want also to persist our user ID. Persist user ID, and also the form name, because we now have the session, so we are now able to use all the Appwrite API. So we want to persist also the stage. It means we are done with the confirmation page. We navigate to username page. If someone closes the app and opens again, you will be returned to the username page, then continue to the dashboard. So after doing this, we can just save this and see what is happening here. I'm sure my OTP is still valid, or let me run it again. So here, then put my number. So I want to delete this first. I want to delete this first. So far we don't have any, and let me delete this one also. So far we don't have, so we want to test again. Then if you come here, we can refresh. You can see the number is not yet verified. So let's verify the number. I think I received an OTP. Let me check my OTP. So this is the OTP 880510. You can see now it's showing navigate to another page username. So we managed to validate our OTP. So on the next tutorial, I will take you from the OTP from this OTP page to username and then to dashboard. So thank you for watching this video. If you are new to this channel, may you please subscribe and click the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Salut coders!